Welcome back to the Farmstead Forum podcast, your southern hub for all things homesteading. I'm your host, Emily Faulkner, and today we're talking about boron, an element you may not hear about often, but one that plays a crucial role in both agricultural and wellness. From stronger crops to potential benefits for bones, hormones, and brain function, we're breaking down why boron deserves more attention. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the Farmstead Forum podcast, your southern hub for all things homesteading. Today's topic is a bit of a conspiracy theory, element that people have some questions about that I actually had to do a deep dive and research on this last week, and it is borax, or boron is the element that is in the product called borax at the store. So, long story short, our last episode, I gave you guys some instructions on how to make your own laundry detergent, and borax is something that I've carried in my house for a couple years now. I had not bought it before then, so I'm pleased to report that after a troll on our YouTube account started leaving nasty comments about how terrible we were for recommending borax as it was banned in several other countries. But it's located in the laundry aisle at Walmart if you are looking for it. So I did some research because I felt it's only right to at least give some credibility to whatever comment someone leaves, even if they are a troll. But this is the product we use. It's 20 Mule Team Borax. And for those of you just listening, I'll have links to this in the show notes. But so this is what I use for the laundry detergent, but all it is ingredient that says sodium borate. So while it's not boron, which is the micronutrient that is found naturally in soil, it is about, I think I read at least 11.3% of elemental boron. But it's just basically a sodium and oxygen. And so there's a couple different molecules that are combined with the boron, but the ingredients just says sodium borate. So there you go for those of you who are like questioning like the ingredients of the borax itself. So fast forward, I stumbled across a Facebook group with over 220,000 people that is nothing except for borax. There were some other things I found on there, but it was borax themed content. So if you have questions, it is a good group, I think, to join to get informed about it. But they have a little file section on there. And one of the files that caught my eye was the borax conspiracy. So this was written by, I was trying to find where it was an article from. Well, it just says Nexus magazine. And he was talking about there is a naturopathic doctor who is treating patients with elemental boron, so boron tablets, and their osteoarthritis was disappearing within a matter of weeks. And so the Australian government caught wind that he was prescribing these boron tablets and effectively sued him, fined him like $1,000, and said that he was selling poison to the public. So once the boron tablets became kind of more, I guess, harder for people to find, the borax cleaner is in small doses used as a substitute. Now, it's nothing that I'm saying on here can be construed as medical advice. Just do your own research. There are certain things that would, prevent you from taking borax. I just recently got a message from a patient earlier this week. And she said she posted the question on the Facebook group, had anyone taken borax and taken digoxin or a blood thinner? And both of those were no-nos. So there's certain medications that could interact with this as a supplement. But let me just tell you guys, because as far as what else it could help. So specifically, we have the effects. It's an antiseptic, so it's antimicrobial, antifungal, and antiviral. but it only has mild antibacterial action. It's essential for integrity and function of cell walls and for the way signals are transmitted across membranes. The deficiency of boron, which some of you who go to a functional medicine doctor, you can get this level tested, but apparently from a functional medicine doctor I just talked to yesterday, he said that the patients that he's checked, almost nobody has been deficient in boron, which makes me question if that level, the scale on the lab value, if it's accurate or if it's an optimal level for what would prevent these different diseases from deficiency, of what it could cause. But deficiency causes the parathyroids to become overactive, releasing too much parathyroid hormone, which raises blood level of calcium by releasing calcium from bones and teeth. So that means that you'd be more prone to breaking bones and dental decay and your teeth, cracking and breaking. This then leads to arthritis, osteoporosis, and tooth decay. With advancing age, high blood levels of calcium lead to calcification of soft tissues, causing muscle contractions and stiffness. Calcification of endocrine glands, especially the pineal gland and the ovaries, arteriosclerosis, kidney stones, and calcification of the kidneys, ultimately leading to kidney failure. So lots of things that can happen from a deficiency of this micronutrient that is naturally found in the soil. And then when you combine boron deficiency with magnesium deficiency, which I would venture to say the majority of Americans are deficient in magnesium as well, is especially damaging to the bones and teeth. And also another benefit of boron is how it affects your sex hormones. It affects metabolism of steroid hormones, especially of sex hormones. So this is your testosterone and estrogen. It also affects your efficiency of your vitamin D. It says in converting vitamin D to its active form. Other reported benefits are improvement of heart problems, vision, psoriasis, balance, memory, and cognition. Boron compounds have anti-tumor properties and are potent anti-osteoporotic, meaning against osteoporosis, anti-inflammatory, anticoagulant, which is why you wouldn't want to take it with a medication that thins your blood, and anti-neoplastic agents. So what this doctor was calling this was the arthritis cure, because he was having several patients reporting resolution of their symptoms within a matter of weeks of taking it. And apparently the osteoporosis, falls, fractures, arthritis, these different issues that warrant hospitalization, it was too profitable for them to continue to allow this doctor to treat patients in their arthritis. So if other doctors caught wind of this, then it would put several orthopedic doctors out of a job, I'm sure. So anytime the government, let me just say this, anytime the government bans something or demonizes it, at least give it a second look, because all you have to do is follow the money trail. This borax at the store was probably less than $10. And it's a ginormous box that could probably last someone years if they were going to ingest little small doses of it. But, of course, you got your prescription drugs, meloxicam, you have ibuprofen, Aleve, naproxen, all these drugs that are used for arthritis. While they're not super expensive, they're a lot more expensive than this box of borax, and you would be dependent on those prescription drugs. So very interesting, this conspiracy document that I found on that website. And then, to my delight, a integrative medicine doctor friend of mine found he sent me another article I'm going to link in the show notes. This is from her name is Lara Pizzorno. She's with the Integrative Medicine Advisors in Seattle, Washington. And this is a scholarly review article about boron. And the title of it, funny enough, is Nothing Boring About Boron. And I'll just read you guys the abstract about it. but it has to do about mainly the benefits, the health benefits. The trace mineral boron is a micronutrient with a diverse and vitally important role in metabolism that renders it necessary for plant, animal, and human health, as recent research suggests, possibly for the evolution of life on Earth. As the current article shows, boron has been proven to be an important trace mineral because it is 1, essential for the growth and maintenance of bone, 2, greatly improves wound healing, 3, beneficially impacts the body's use of estrogen, testosterone, and vitamin D, and 4, boosts magnesium absorption. So, those of you who are taking magnesium and your doctor keeps telling you that it's low, you're probably not absorbing it. So, here's one of the reasons: low boron. 5, reduces levels of inflammatory biomarkers such as high sensitivity C-reactive protein and tumor necrosis factor. Those are just inflammatory markers and clotting factor. Raises levels of antioxidant enzymes such as superoxide dismutase. I've not heard of that one. Catalase and glutathione peroxidase, which is the precursor for glutathione. And that's your body's most potent antioxidant. Protects, and number 7, protects against pesticide-induced oxidative stress and heavy metal toxicity. So this is also a good heavy metal detox aid. And I've heard also on the Facebook group that it's used for candida detox as well, or treatment. Number 8, improves the brain's electrical activity, cognitive performance, and short-term memory for elders. And number 9, influences the formation activity of key biomolecules such as S-adenosyl methionine and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, which is NAD+. And number 10, has demonstrated preventative and therapeutic effects in a number of cancers, such as prostate, cervical, and lung cancers, and multiple and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And 11, may help ameliorate the adverse effects of traditional chemotherapeutic agents. In none of the numerous studies conducted to date, however, do boron's beneficial effects appear at intakes over 3 milligrams per day. No estimated average requirements or dietary reference intakes have been set for boron. So in other words, there was no benefit found above 3 milligrams per day. The absence of studies showing harm in conjunction with a substantial number of articles showing benefits support the consideration of boron supplement of 3 milligrams per day for any individual who's consuming a diet lacking in fruits and vegetables, or who is at risk for or has osteopenia, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, or breast, prostate, or lung cancer. I would point out, because this is saying that only people who don't eat fruits and vegetables pretty much should be taking a boron supplement. So our local ag center, if you do a soil test and you ask them to check what you're deficient in your garden, the boron, to my understanding, is not even in that micronutrient list. You have to ask for, I believe it's macro and micro nutrient testing on your the lab that you do your soil testing through. The ag center, which does, I would say, a large majority of local farmers' soil testing, doesn't even test for boron. And you can use borax. They tell you when you're deficient in boron to add borax to your soil. You just sprinkle it out in the garden. So the to know, like, if it's not, to me, it's not sufficient to say if your diet is lacking in vegetables and fruits that you should supplement. The chances are you probably are already deficient in boron, because we know that our soil is not the way that it used to be. And if our ag center is not even checking a boron level of the soil, how are you going to know to replace it? You don't know that it's necessary, in your garden planting. So all that to say, even if you're eating fruits and vegetables, if that boron is not in the soil, those vegetables are not going to then produce fruits that have, or vegetables that have, boron in the fruit of the plant. So there is a level, like I said, for you to get checked with your functional medicine or integrated medicine doctor. But from what I'm reading, in small doses, this is not a harmful substance. I mean, if you give a mouse or a rat 500 times its, therapeutic level of borax, then yes, as those articles that I found on Google that talk about how you shouldn't have borax because it can cause reproductive harm, abortion, those type of things in rats. They were using a lot higher exposure amounts than what you would normally even be exposed to with just using it around the house, or even, taking a bath in it, those kind of things. So, yeah, it's ridiculous when a country can ban a substance or demonize it because of bogus research results, basically. I mean, unrealistic, I should say. Too much of anything is a bad thing. So, such as vitamin D. If your vitamin D level gets super, super high, you can have palpitations. Too much of anything is a bad thing. Just use common sense, do your own research, and know that, not everything is as it seems. So, for the troll on our YouTube account, you can do some extra reading and research yourself instead of just using Google, because it's not always reliable. So what I was going to say is this abstract I'm going to put in the show notes, but what a great wealth of information this one article is, and research founded. If you just consider the arthritis effects alone, that's huge. If you lose your mobility as you get older because you have stiffness in your joints, your knees, your hips, or if you fall and break a hip or a knee, your life expectancy goes down. I believe within 5 years, 50% of people that break a knee or a hip end up dying over like 55. It's something crazy. Your mobility is everything. So this one benefit alone of boron is just amazing, because your mobility really is everything. I tell my patients all the time, move it or lose it, sister, because the moment you stop moving, that's when you start deteriorating and your health declines. So, it may not be for everybody, but if it has all of these benefits, it is worth a try, in my opinion. But again, I'm not giving you personal medical advice. If you're on certain medications that can interact with it, honestly, you should talk to your doctor. But I think most of you that see traditional medicine doctors, unless you showed them this article abstract that I'm referencing, like, I think that they would probably look at you crazy when you tell them that, yes, you put a pinch of borax in your coffee in the morning, just a pinch. But the recipes that I found to dilute and make a concentrate solution, it is such a small amount that you are ingesting. I don't see how it could hurt you. But so, for instance, this is a huge box. You just take around a teaspoon of this borax and you put it in 1 liter of water. And then of that concentrate, you take a teaspoon or 5 milliliters a couple times a day. You're supposed to stay hydrated. That's important when you're taking boron supplements or this borax. Most of the people that I've seen that actually utilize it as a bath, as a soak. And the typical starting soak for detoxing is a cup of Epsom salt, a cup of baking soda, 1 cup of the borax, and then your hot water. Some people add a little bit of bentonite clay. That's okay. You should not add apple cider vinegar, because I think the apple cider vinegar and the borax can interact and cause a chemical reaction. That would not be good. But baking soda, borax, Epsom salt, those are all okay. Some people use Himalayan salt instead of Epsom salt. And it makes the skin really soft. I found also on the same Facebook group, I found an old 1904 document about borax and the many uses that they had for it back then. And it talked about using it as how to dilute it to make a solution and use it for the hair to make it softer and shinier. You, of course, could use it as a cleaner in your house with detergents. You can use it for clothes that have stains. Instead of using bleach, you can put borax on there and just let it sit in borax water. It brightens clothes as well, helps them keep their color. It also neutralizes odors in the clothes. And then I read in this old document from the and I'm going to try to link that too for y'all, that you can use it for ant beds. So like putting a little bit of borax on your ant beds in the garden. To me, that would be a better solution than fire ant killer, because on that the warnings are don't put it anywhere fruits or vegetables are grown, so it's very toxic. You can use it in the pantry. You can sprinkle some to keep bugs or even vermin out of your pantry. Gosh, I mean, if I could, I don't even think I could list all the uses for borax. But in my house, I'm just using it in my detergent, and I have used it in my laundry. So, but I'm not going to lie to y'all. I have thought about pinching some and putting it in my drink in the morning, my mushroom coffee, just to see if it helps with my knees, because I'm already getting some arthritis and crepitus in my knees. I know I look so young. How could I already be having arthritis? But really, it's already hitting me in my 30s. So you guys do your own research, but this is multi-purpose to me. It shows promise, and it appears safe in small doses. So just use your own judgment, and you guys can let me know. I want to hear your stories. If you have tried borax before, or even just done soaks and seen improvement and different symptoms, let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email, if you don't want to be known publicly that you've tried it. But send me some feedback. Let me know if you guys have some anecdotal stories. I would love to hear them. And, but yeah, go check out their Facebook group. It has a lot of good content on there in the file section, like I said. Before we continue, I want to remind you that all of the show notes and resources mentioned in today's episode are available on our website at farmsteadforum.com. If you're finding value in this content, please take a moment to like this episode and subscribe to the Farmstead Forum podcast on YouTube and Spotify. It truly helps support the show. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on upcoming episodes, events, and everything happening with Farmstead Forum. Thanks so much for being here and for supporting this community. So, another big announcement for our meeting for this year. So we will have on August the 8th at the Ag Center in Carrollton, we'll have an RSVP harvest dinner. So the Farmstead Forum and the Ag Center, we are collaborating on this event. It's going to be a keynote speaker, Dr. Key from Key Farms is going to be speaking on food as medicine. And then we'll also have a small community panel of speakers after her. If you guys have gardens planted starting, these next couple of weeks, whatever you harvest from your homestead or livestock, if you want to bring a side dish that's a meat, is fine. But mainly I was thinking of gardens, end of summer, what could we bring to share as a meal? So bring a side from your homestead if you're able. We will be getting the non-GMO meat, which will be beef, and making meatloaf with that. And so tentatively, the beef's coming from Key Farms, and we will be supplying that. I think the cost is going to be around $15 a person, and the raffle will be separate. So whenever you guys arrive for the raffle's through Farmstead Forum, and the paying the fees for attending the dinner, the $15 goes to the Ag Center. So if you guys are interested, have questions about it, shoot me an email, info@farmsteadforum.com. Hope to see you guys there. Make sure that you get your RSVP into the Ag Center as soon as possible, because I think they need to know by the end of July how many pounds of beef they need to buy. And so it is by RSVP only, because we'll have 100 people max that we can accommodate for the dinner. So you guys get your names in there before the spots run out. And yeah, looking forward to seeing everybody in August. And we have some great podcasts coming up. Trying to meet with Sarah Hawkins, who was at the Farmstead Forum. She'll be doing 2 podcasts with me coming up soon. And then also Jenny McCarty will be doing a podcast with her coming up very shortly. So I'm excited for both of those. Send us an email if you're interested in hearing from any of our other Farmstead Forum speakers. Also, if you missed the conference this last year, those recordings are up on our website for less than $20. You can get access to all 27 recordings and most of the PowerPoints. If you guys have requests for topics for next year, I'm all ears. So just drop me an email. Thank you for listening. Just let us know if you got questions, and thanks for watching. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. Join our Facebook group and follow us on Instagram for the latest updates. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and visit our website for upcoming events. For sponsorship opportunities, reach out to us through our website. See you next time.